welcome to We Should All Be Changemakers TalkShow. Welcome to the very first episode. My name is Deborah Kemi Adedibo. You can call me D. And this show has been brought to you by Up for Social Impact, Innovation and Development. Basically, a community of young, passionate changemakers that are equipped with practical skills to solve problems in their communities and in their nation. I'm so excited to be here. I will be bringing you practical insights from my books that I published earlier on this year, February 2021. And this book is really the go-to for change making. The aim of this talk show is we have two aims for it, and the first one is to inspire you. The first one is to inspire you to actually start thinking about change making. Is to bring you stories of people who have gone before us and people who are even still very active in the field, and they are solving problems across the globe, across the continent, and even in Nigeria. And the second thing is to give you practical skills, practical tips that you can use immediately, that you can start using to actually solve problems, right? That's when we'll start talking about the 5-step framework that I created. We'll start talking about things that you can actually start doing to be a change maker. So before we go into this, the very first question somebody will ask me is, why should I be a change maker? Why, before you even get into defining change making for me, why should I even start considering being a change maker? I'm still trying to figure out my life, especially young persons. I'm still trying to get that job in that big multinational so that I can get my car, so that I can have my gated estate, and so that I can get married and have the marriage that's going to be on Bella Niger or something like that. So somebody might be asking, why should I be involved? You should be involved because you can see the problems. You should be a change maker because you can see the problems. There's something that is very rampant where I come from. In case you're listening to this from somewhere else, in Nigeria there's something called japa, and it's really it just means to levitate. Okay, not to levitate, to be serious now, to transport yourself from Nigeria because of the very tight, the way things are. It's not encouraging, and it can be stifling for the young person. But the question is, what happens if we all cannot go? It's not even if. The question is, what happens now that we all cannot go? Not everybody can afford relocating to a developed clime, or not everybody has an uncle up there outside there rather. So the reason why you should make change is because you can see the problems, and we need to start having these conversations. One thing that I think so much about is I believe that it is possible. Honestly, I believe that it is possible for young persons, a group of rowdy people, young persons, to actually create change. There's this quote by Margaret Mead, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and she said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that has ever been true." Like, it is actually possible. I have been doing a lot of research around nation building, and one thing that I am getting to see is that ordinary people actually just get very angry, fed up, and things happen. Okay, there's the story of Rosa Parks that we all know, and what happened was that the Montgomery bus boycott that happened, and what really happened was that there used to be bus segregations according to your race. So white people had a particular place they would sit, and the black people had, I think, at the back of the bus where you would sit. So on that day, I think that so Rosa Parks was in the bus, and the white section was filled, and the bus driver, I think, asked her to stand. She was in a black section, like she was sitting where blacks were supposed to sit. She's a black woman, by the way, and the bus driver asked her to stand up so that a white person could sit. I know of the story, I have read about it, I read it in a book, and I still get very angry whenever I talk about it. That is inhumane. So this woman got very angry and she said she wasn't going to stand up, right? She wasn't going to stand up. And let me read something to you that Martin Luther King said about it, the same LMFK that we know. He said, actually, no one can understand the action of Mrs. Parks unless he realizes that eventually the cup of endurance runs over and the human personality cries out, I cannot take it no longer. This is the statement Martin Luther King gave concerning Rosa Parks' refusal to move from the back seat reserved for blacks so that a white person could sit as the white-only section in the bus was filled. This action by Rosa Parks birthed the Montgomery bus boycott movement that continued for 381 days, leading to severely damaging the bus transit company finances and eventually seeing to the end of the racial segregation in the buses. Do you see that? That's amazing. So that is what anger does. So one thing we saw during the EndSARS protest was that people were angry. People were angry. We were all angry. We were all fed up, and something happened. It started somebody might be like, oh, but where are we now? It started something in the mind of the average Nigerian youth that we are powerful, and I don't think we're even done with that. I think that was just the beginning, and we're coming back in a very more organized and strategic, should I say, format. So now this will bring me to say that we cannot be unbothered anymore. We cannot be unbothered about what is happening as young persons. As young persons, you're still very young. I like to think of it like this, that you're still in your 20s. If you are blessed with a very long life, as we all pray, you're still going to be around for a very long time, maybe 50, 60. It's a long time to want to manage. And what gives me confidence is that it can actually be done. People have done it. And I think that's why history is very good. It's really good to read history or to read about people that are doing stuff, because you can see that people are doing it, people have done it, and you can also do it. So I'm going to end this episode with this, because I do not want to, I want us to go on this journey together. I'm going to end it with something that I came up with, and it's called the Changemakers recipe. The Changemakers recipe is really just I like to call it maybe like an acronym for you to know what makes up a change maker, and that is problems, passion, solutions, and skills. Problems, passions, solutions, and skills. I would explain. You can see the problem. I can't see the problem. And I like to ask this question: what's that problem that gets you angry the most in Nigeria? Everybody has their own. Somebody will tell me it's gender inequality. Somebody will tell me it's the level of no accountability and transparency and the confidence that they have to actually even do the governance that way. It makes people leave it. Somebody will tell me it's education. I don't just get why children in public schools look the way they look. You can literally tell a private school student from a public school student in Nigeria. It's glaring. Or the way their schools look, their facilities. Somebody might be telling me I'm angry about the curriculum. It's been undevised. It's up there. There's so many unnecessary stuff. It's not equipping the next generation for the new time or the new seasons that we are in. And for me, it's going to be healthcare. Any day, anytime. You wake me up from sleep, it's going to be healthcare. I do not understand why people have to become medically poor because they cannot pay for their healthcare bills, especially when they get chronically sick. And we're working on that. We're seriously working on that, right? So that's the problem. You see a problem. A change maker sees a problem. The next thing is that a change maker is passionate. A change maker is passionate. Something that people would see and they would normally look and just it's Nigeria, it's something that happens. It's Africa, it's something that happens. You as a change maker will not be able to look and just come what I. That's something we say. Yeah, like it means you will not be able to just look and just look away. You are bothered by it. You cannot just understand why it is the way it is, right? So that is passion. Another thing that relates to passion is either pain point or anger. There is always Another thing to be angry about, that's the power. So there is always something to be angry about, or there are oftentimes things that people are angry about. People have lost family members from the poor healthcare. People have lost loved ones because of the poor roads that somebody took the money into their own personal accounts, right? So anger point or pain point is also very related to passion. And solution strategies now means that you begin to think of solutions. What can we do better? What can we do better? What can you begin to have a myriad of thoughts that's like, okay, I think we can come together and do this. We can come together over the healthcare problem. Can we look at how we can make primary healthcare centers better? Go in, paint them, buy the equipment that is needed, a coalition of people coming together to actually solve problems together. And the last one is skills. And I think this is so important. Skills is like a salt. Let me just put it that way. Because if you cook a very nice meal and there's no salt, it's just really bland. So skills, everything rides on the back of skills. Why? Because you can know the problem. Everybody in Nigeria knows the problem. Everybody can see the problem. Everybody can identify that this is wrong. This is not supposed to be happening. Almost everybody is passionate. Have you ever heard a market woman tell you how the president of a nation is the problem of that nation? You're going to know how passionate everybody is. Everybody can tell you, oh, this is how it should be done. Even in the Senate, this is how it should be done. Everybody can do that. But is everybody skilled to actually solve problems? Is everybody skilled to actually solve problems? There's so many skills. There's funding skills, there's fundraising, because you actually need money to actually solve problems. You'll be very surprised the amount. It is capital intensive. So right, somebody will be you need money, so you need fundraising skills, you need funding skills, you need project management skills. There's a lot to be done. If you come up with a solution strategy, the phases that you will go through, there's a flow chart that you have to create. These are skills. There's implementation skills, there's planning skills, there's technical advisory skills, there's so many skills. So the question is, can you see the problem? Have you identified the problem? Are you passionate enough? Are you thinking, where am I supposed to be? What am I angry about? How can I make things better? What is done in Canada? What is done in Australia, New Zealand? They're getting it. They've been on the news time and time again. How is she making it happen? These are questions that you start to ask, and then you'll actually start to get skills to implement the solutions. And let me just say this very quickly: the Hub for Social Impact Innovation and Development, we just opened our first cycle of membership, like our first membership cycle, and we're super pumped about it. What do we do at the Hub is that it's a by youth for youth thingy. So we curate a list of skills that you need to actually solve problems from the beginning to the end, right? And we come together to co-learn. We have a co-learning platform and a research institute. So we come together. It's organized. We have a 7 tracks of intense learning, right? So you come into the Hub, you take these courses, you stay in an impact group. There's an impact group that we have 9 impact groups. Healthcare, strengthening and improving healthcare system. There is gender equality. There is energy. There is technology for innovations. Wherever you think your passion is, you come in to the Hub and you actually start to solve problems. You really want to come in because there is power in community. When a group of people who are passionate about similar things come together to actually solve problems, it is epic, and we're looking forward. It's about youth for a youth thing. That means it's by us youths and it is for the youth, right? We really want to welcome you to come on board. Never forget, you are the change that we're waiting for. And like Rosa Parks, maybe it is time to be angry, not by bronze but by brain. It is time to be angry enough to actually birth the solutions that the world is waiting for. I'll see you next time, and I can't wait to share what I have with you next time. Thank you so much for doing this. Make sure you write your thoughts with me, share your thought with me in the comment section, and share this with your network so that more people can see this and we can actually raise a generation of